Hello, everyone. It is Friday, September 23, 2022. According to the things my father, my dad, not Jesus, although he is a good friend, he has a father. But I wanted to do a update about this Shepards Rod thing that seems to be all over the news. I have my voice back, and I haven't been online for like 3 weeks because I had a frog in my throat. Used to like frog legs. I never thought they'd get even with me, but I'm doing a lot better. Thank you for all your well wishes and all my birthday wishes. I turned 70. And I left home when I was 17. So I had a little bit of difficulty. Not only did I get sick, which I'm not really sure it's, I still sound a little weird, but we did a lot of work around here and we hauled a bunch of stuff off. And I just think my sinuses got all messed up and that settled in my voice cords. So let's talk about what's happening. It seems Yom Kippur 2022. And as my dad always said, it's after 6 o'clock in Independence, Missouri, where Harry Truman saved Israel. We got a fly in here. Speaking of which, we cleaned all that stuff out of my backyard, 35 years of stuff, my life. Yeah, we got it all out of there. And it finally rained. It's no longer 100 degrees. It's like 72 for the next week or two. So let's talk. What is a shepherd's rod? And some of you, the enemy's in my own house. But I got Bobby Connor, Rick Joyner, and another group of people. Anybody can have a shepherd's rod. It's just the revelation you get about this time. And I believe that I met a stepbrother, never met the stepdaughter, did meet Bonnie's sister, but that was at a time. Can you imagine your mom dies? You have no input on the funeral, where they're going to be born, where they're going to be buried. And then when my dad dies, they walk all over my mom's grave and they don't even put down a tarp. And they entomb him. What, they're afraid he's going to escape and reappear? I was the fly on the wall. I see a lot of people posting a lot of things from 10 years ago, or 20, or 30, or 40 about what my dad said. I mean, honestly, if I did a shakedown on you and took your best memories from your dad and someone else, no, you know what he was? But I think we're coming out on the other side of that. If you look at my last video, and I don't know that it's going to show up, but he actually in 1989, and I was a fly on the wall, and don't ask me how I did it. But the flies are back. There's no bugs in the world, but I got a few flies. He talked about Ukraine. If you look at my past video, I hope it shows up here, here, and if not there, like, subscribe. I don't know. So what's the point of the story tonight? This is Yom Kippur. Actually, the revelation he would get on this night, everybody had these new cell phones and all this weird stuff. There goes the fly. Speaking of flies, we cleaned up all the backyard because I'm getting ready to go in a rest home, as Rick Joyner would say, not a retirement home, it's a refirement home. You know, I always thought I was 2 years younger than him. He's 2 years older than me. Well, anyway, let's go on with the story. The best I can do it, because I've been somewhat under the weather after spending like an entire spring of rain and cold weather, turned 100 degrees like last Wednesday, which would have been about September 20th. Thank you for all the birthday wishes and all the calls. And I really appreciate it. So nice of you. There's a lot of stuff in the news. So go back to my last video. My dad talked about all this in 1989. Ukraine. How they got $1.4 billion in the 90s to go into Russia, deliver a bunch of Bibles, and have revivals. And now nobody wants to go to war. Why would you want to go to war? What good does war do? As the fish would say, absolutely nothing. Well, all this nuclear talk. I'm going to look at my last video. I posted the link. I'm going to post it again. I don't know who this guy is that captured it, how he got a hold of it, but I was actually sitting in the room at the same time. And I met all those people, Terry Law and everybody, and $1.4 million was given to go into Russia and preach the gospel. Now, according to another fly on the wall, they're wanting to mobilize 1.4 million soldiers to send them abroad. Well, it just so happens most of them don't want to fight. I find that kind of interesting. They said I don't say they, I know exactly who they are. And if you email me and say happy birthday, you'll get a bonus video. No, I don't do that. But for every dollar in 1989 that was given to take the Bible, the message into Russia, they would come out with 1.4 billion witnesses. And each one would touch at least 100. Just to clarify what he was saying, he wasn't feeling really good at the time, but he knew what he was saying. If these men are leaving, you know what they're taking with them? My wife, my child is left behind. And they are, just like he said, the only escape is to Islamic countries. Not that I care or believe in all that stuff. I am not a prophet. I am an intel agent. I just report the news as I see it. And they used to let me sit down at the table every once in a while because I guess Bob was my dad and they had no choice. They really had some good food. But anyway, I'm not buying into this nuclear war thing. Nobody in their right mind would do that. So they're saying Putin is not in his right mind. I've heard that before. Your dad's not in his right mind. Yes, he was. He was under the influence of inspired inspiration. And for those who believe in Jesus Christ, it was the Holy Spirit. For others, he just was on the inside circle and he used to go in the green room and they used to say this, say that. Who knows? Oh, I was there a time or two. They had the best broccoli chicken with cream sauce and a salad. And back then, you know why? You have to email me, but I will say this to you. Father Bush, I ain't eating my broccoli. I mean, a world leader, a president. He's going to take down the whole broccoli industry. Oh, I waver, excuse me. Okay, here's the point of the story. Anybody can do a shepherd's rod. So some people have enough control over it. They think they own it. They don't. Rosh Hashanah, same word, different term. Tomorrow's a big day. It's already here in some places, like over there. Remember that one in World War I? Over there, over there. Okay, folks. You know, I really would have done a shepherd's rod that Lynn cost Bonnie's stepson, who she's not even related to except through marriage. My dad would give this on Rosh Hashanah. And it would take him like 3 or 4 or 5 months to get it put together, put his thoughts in it, put my name, Bob Jones, my dad's name on it. And by the time it got published, it was a year old. Think about it. On a positive note, I've been looking around. What if I had a revelation? Okay, first one to be The Shepherd, a book many years old that had to do with a man flying by himself in a plane, and he totally gets disorganized. And the shepherd, which anybody who's a flight pilot knows, they have a wingman. You know what a wingman is? Someone that watches over you from the heavens. So I'm going to go with that. I bet you Lynn Cost can't even get it written, understood, or published before sometime in 2023. But I'll tell you this, have you learned to love? I will sell you a pound of coffee for $20. And if you buy right now and subscribe to my channel, you also get a free coffee cup so that you can tune in with Bonnie's devotionals, which last about a minute and a half. And for $25, if you subscribe to I Love or How Have You Learned to Love, you get a pound of coffee, a coffee cup, you get subscribed, and the books that used to sell for $1, you can get for 50 cents. Well, I guess that's about all I have to say about the Shepards Rod of 2023. Oh my goodness.